Okay, guys, so please welcome Stephen Ames to the Media Center. Stephen, you were tied for low Canadian here last time in 2009.
Seemed like a century ago.
A little while ago, the last time we were at Glen Abbey, but making your 16th consecutive RBC Canadian Open start. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what it's like being back at the Canadian Open, and then we'll open it up for some questions.
Oh, it's always fun being back at the Canadian Open. It's a home event. Obviously, a lot of family and friends always following and around. So, in that respect, it's wonderful, and also the fact of knowing where we're staying and everything each week that we come out to the Canadian Open, it's fun. So, in that respect, it's always a delight to play the Canadian Open.
Great, and if anyone's got some questions, please raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone.
God, off you go. Oh, I'm right here. You didn't need it, but yeah.
Talk about yesterday and what that event meant in your eyes, what you see for it going forward. And second question to that, are you tending to help the younger guys? Something we just talked to Scott Simmons about a little bit more, Stephen, but you tending to talk to the younger guys a little bit more in this country about being professionals and some of these up-and-comers that some of the guidance that, you know, and the wisdom of Stephen Ames that you can pass along to them?
Well, there's definitely a lack of that. There's no doubt. In both respects. Golf Canada not doing, I think, personally, not doing the job of being the governing body of golf for Canada. I think the models of Australia, Sweden are great models to follow, and Canada doesn't do that. I'm referring more to the fact of facilities for practicing, having elite facilities within each province. That to me is a perfect model of what Sweden does, and it shows. They're going to be great players that are coming out of Sweden, or have come out of Sweden. Australia is exactly the same way. Their governing body, supported very much by the government, which is obviously a tickle with everything with Canada in that respect. Their hands are very much tied. It's tough for them to raise the money to be able to support those facilities to work. And for myself, giving back to the game of golf is helping the up-and-coming players, without a doubt. I do introduce myself. Some of them might know me, some of them might not. But a lot of the good upcoming players, especially out of Canada, some good players, some really, really good players. And like Brad mentioned last night, it takes time for these guys to get there. And I think, that's a true statement, but at the same time, it's also an excuse. There's time, but I think the time comes from the fact of how much time you put into it to get there quicker. We see that with the kids from the States or around the world. And I can name right off the bat the Korean kid, 14-year-old, he's there. But boy, he does not leave the range. He works at it. He's 14 years old, and it's amazing. From 40 yards in, he'll give Tiger a run for his money, and Phil. He's that good. Doesn't have the strength to hit it far, or the mechanics, which are very weak. But from 40 yards in, he's phenomenal. And it's because you put the time in. And when Brad mentioned that last night, I wanted to jump in, but I didn't want to bite his tongue a little bit on that respect. But that's the difference there. It's hard living in Canada, of course, because of the fact that we have winter. So that's what takes the time, because we live here. That's a choice we make. But then we have a choice of also going south, jumping on a plane and going to Florida and working on your game. So, and that's where the money comes up. It's very expensive. So there's a give and take in some respects, but I think they're getting better, but I think they could be better, especially for indoor facilities, working on your mechanics when the winters are here, helping the younger players come up from 10 onwards and hitting balls, working on their basics. When time comes to play summertime, they've got the basics down. All they've got to do is go out and play now. And that's the part that takes time. But having the basics down, then it's easier. You're not working on your basics like I do every day when I'm playing.
So an event like yesterday sort of becomes a conduit between your generation and the generation that's coming up behind you.
Somewhat, yes.
You'd long been a proponent of trying to get a Canadian Open event out west.
Yeah.
You're not going to get at least it doesn't look in the short term like that's going to happen anytime soon, but you do have the senior event coming up in about a month's time. I mean, you're not playing it this year, obviously, but next year you will. And I mean, how significant is it for you personally to have an event in Calgary?
Well, no offense from everybody being from East there, but the money is in the West right now
You
with
still
the
have
oil,
the golf course.
with the oil and sands. The only problem is we don't have the golf course. There is one that is in the works right now. The first phase of the 7th goes with a housing project. It's done with the Harmony Group.
Is
And
this the one you've been affiliated with?
correct.
Yeah.
The first phase alone was 110 million. There's 7. So you're hearing a lot of money that is coming out there, but the whole system, the whole phase itself, all the different phases added up, there are 3,500 homes going in there. So it's not a small project, it's a big project. The golf course is a separate entity to it altogether. The land was given for free. We have the developer giving us all the machinery for free. So there's a lot of things that are brought the plus to get it started. And we had to wait for the first phase financing to come through, which it has. And we're supposed to be breaking ground August, right now.
So
Close.
you'd be a couple of years out, probably 3 years before the Open.
At least.
Yeah.
You got to give the golf course at least a year and a half to build, and then another 2 years to.
grow
Yeah.
in.
I've talked to Scott about a date, and we have potential. We had 16, that was gone. Now we're looking at 18 to hosting it in
Is
Calgary.
it significant for you to have an event in Calgary? Like, I mean, even the Shaw thing, is that a big deal for you?
Yes and no. I think it's important that being a national open, we move to different cities within Canada
Right.
to a national open. Some can sustain it and some can't. Calgary can sustain it. All we needed was a golf course to build. I mean, the city is a booming city. We've got great hotels, restaurants, everything to go with it. Those are all added attributes to the event and all. Great golf course to go with it. Well, yeah. Guys are going to be happy.
Lastly, what's the state of your game these days coming in here? I know it's probably not where you want it to be, but how do you see this year? Is just sort of a transition year heading in? Do you still have expectations coming out of yourself? What do you see?
Body-wise, it's great.
Yeah.
No aches and pains, which is always a plus for me.
No back problems?
No back problems. We get up a little sore every now and again, but I think we all do as we get older. The game hasn't been great. It's been a struggle, yes, without a doubt. I have struggled mostly with the driver. Has been my weak fall in my game. If you notice the stats, I'm actually 3rd in putting this year, which is good. So that's usually the part that usually falls down as you get older, and I'm actually going the other way. So, you know what, I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, I've still got another year out here, and I still think I can win out here. And if I get my game back to where it was before, hitting ball striking wise, I don't think I have a problem competing with these guys out here. Because of the fact that the short game of the putting is still very strong.
Do you take notice when you see a Woody Austin winning at 49
No.
last week?
Good for him. He was not playing anywhere. He didn't have any exemption. I can still play anywhere I want. Lucky me. It just happened to work out that way. I didn't plan it. It just worked out that way. But for Woody, it's nice, especially on that golf course. It was wet. It's short, and so the longer hitters had an advantage, and he still ended up winning, which is great. I don't know if it was an easy playoff, but it was a playoff, though, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it? Daniel Summerhays, yeah, 3-man, another 3-man playoff, yeah. So it's fun. It's nice to see that Woody did win. Yeah, this gives him a place to play, which is nice.
Stephen, can you touch on the fact that the Abbey is back here, first time since '09? Do you like the rotational thing for this event, or would you like to see it just play at one course?
No, it needs to be rotated. I've stated that for years, and I think that's why they've gone about what they've done. I think it's nice that we're capable of moving it. It's a national open, moving it to different golf courses around Canada, and showing the different beauties of Canada throughout. I mean, Vancouver. We could go to Nova Scotia and PEI and play out there. I mean, that's another beautiful part of the world. And then, of course, you're here in Toronto, the metropolitan part of, the New York of Canada, should we say. And then, of course, there's West Calgary, which we haven't got to yet.
Do you think it's working?
I think it is, yes. I think the main person that's putting the money up is very happy, RBC, about the fact that we're moving out throughout Canada. They are a national bank, or the National Bank of Canada, am I right? And moving it within different parts of Canada, I think they get to hit those markets that normally they will not be able to hit. And I think that's the plus part, and that's the part that I think most important, more than anything else. The players, we're just about to spoil golfers, you know, and that's a fact. We are spoiled. So if we spoil those guys enough, I think they'll come.
Could you speak to, I guess, your current enjoyment level of golf and where you think it will go eventually when you eventually go to the Champions Tour? Where, if your feeling will change on it at that point, reflect?
Well,
I guess.
My current enjoyment depends on my son if he continues playing. Who's caddying for me this week? Yeah.
Nice.
Same son who was out at Florida when you
It's right behind you.
Hey, sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's my enjoyment right now. It's a thrill. You know, he knows a lot about the game and sees a lot of my swing, which is nice. And it's always a joy when you have another family member with you that are enjoying this, reaping the same fun things and enjoyment of the game that I've had for years, and that he's slowly starting to enjoy it as well. Hopefully, a lot of it will rub off onto him, and he will continue the Ames tradition, shall we say, the sarcastic Ames tradition, and go from there. But you know, this is his first experience caddying, and I'm sure we'll have more as we go on, because if he continues with the game, he'll want to come out and be with me and caddy as well. Plus the pay is not bad, I'm sure.
Are you giving the standard? Does he get the standard?
No, he's not getting standard. He's getting pretty close to it.
Oh,
but
really? So you aren't paying him, right?
I am paying him, yeah.
Okay, this is a good summer job.
It's a summer job, exactly.
Make more money here than at Walmart.
But fun level and still enjoying it, yeah, that's always have. It'll be a while before when I start moving the ball backwards and not forward, then I'll think I'll stop it. Let's put it that way.
Okay, any other questions for Stephen? Yes, right at the back there with Jay.
When you talked about a few questions ago, about moving the rotation of the Canadian Open around, how much of that is also playing different golf courses? A couple of years ago, I know the guys loved Shaughnessy, and
Yep.
I know it's always come back here, but you know, to play some of the old courses, and then maybe like you said on Eastern, you know, the seaboard, where we have some really good golf courses, I think it enhances the field and you know the challenge for you guys as well.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt. That's funny. About 6 months ago, Jeff Ogilvie and myself sat down and talked about the golf courses that we play on tour, and we did a waterfront analogy looking at the elapsed time of playing in a Pro-Am format or playing in a Pro-Am itself. And when you played a Pro-Am on the Wednesday, if we played the PGA West golf courses at Bob Hope Classic, the Pro-Am time was 5.5 hours almost to play, only because of the fact that everything was a carry over water. We shot 26 under par to win the event, as an example. And we came to Riviera now, old style, traditional golf course. The amateur part of it, Pro-Am wise, was taking 4 hours and a half, and the pros were getting their asses flicked because it was a tough golf course. And here we are, a scenario. It's like, don't these guys, the architects, get the idea that traditional golf courses are the fun ones to play for everyone? Yet we keep building golf courses. Like an example here yesterday, I played with a guy who owns Bond Head. What's his name? Iggy. He's
Kenneth.
87 years old. He couldn't hit it more than 100 yards. He lost 8, 10 golf balls in the 9 holes that I played with him. So everything was a false carry. There's no run to it. And how much golf can you enjoy playing like that? I know he plays every day, but still. But, you know, and that's the part that is happening, and that's why golf is, I think, going that way rather than that way. A lot of it is technology has made it easier for us, but at the same time, the golf courses have to become tougher, so they're building golf courses that are obsolete for the amateur players. And we're less than 1% of the population of the world that plays the game. Why are we building golf courses to suit us? We should be building golf courses for the majority of players that play. I mean, Jack said it for years. He's been saying that, and he's very right.
So on that, Stephen, just to follow up, what do you think the solutions are to increase participation?
Well, a lot of it, in some respects, playing 12 holes, having a golf course that's 12 holes, definitely different golf courses where your traditional bunker left, bunker right, little tuck behind it, but it still has to be the traditional setup, or design, should I say, rather than having the 150, 200 yard carries over water. I mean, you thin one at a Scottish Open or a British Open golf course, it's running straight up the middle. I mean, okay, I hit it a little thin, but look at that, it's running. Oh, look, it just went on the hole. But I landed it 80 yards short of the green. People are going to enjoy that. They hit a bad shot, but they're still going to score, shall we say, more than anything else. And again, back to the same thing. That's why a lot of players enjoy Shaughnessy. It's a traditional old style right in front of us. Hamilton's exactly the same way. Royal Montreal, I haven't played the new Royal Montreal, but I remember the old Royal Montreal was that way. Some holes, not all. There's still a lot of carries. And then after that, where do we go to? We don't have anything else after that traditional-wise, do we? St. George's? That's the reason why we went there, I thought, for me. I mean, it rained, made the golf course really soft. But I think if that golf course was firm and fast, it'd be a beautiful test, you know? I know we have a lot of traditional golf courses out here, but at the same time, technology is making a lot of them obsolete, unfortunately.
Any other questions for Stephen? Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Enjoy your week, everybody.